It took hours for the container ship to move 2.5 miles, almost 2 months after crashing into the Key Bridge, and some bridge wreckage still remains in the water.
Jessica Babb with our sister station joins us now from Baltimore. Jessica, the work still isn't finished.
The work is far from finished. While today was a big milestone, the Dolly right now is at Seager, where they'll continue removing some of that debris, and then it'll eventually will go to Norfolk for repairs. But again, while more ships can now pass in and out of the channel, there's still a lot of debris in the water that will need to be removed. And the channel also isn't as wide as it needs to be. For instance, right now the channel is about 400 feet wide, but really it needs to be 700 feet wide. And that will essentially allow two-way traffic in and out of the port. Now, if you're looking at this video, you can kind of see that slow and steady nature of the Dolly moving through the water this morning. And again, with the debris that still needs to come out of the water, officials say there's a lot under the mud line that also needs to be removed. Officials with the Port of Baltimore say they've been working to make sure business can return to the port and companies with their cargo come back. In the meantime, it's not clear how much the port has lost in money, but since the port generates about $192 million in economic impact daily, it is safe to say it is going to take time for the port to fully recover. But with some cruise ships now coming back and businesses starting to resume, again, this certainly is a big milestone.
I think when we initially started, folks were saying that, it would be 6 to 9 months before we were able to refloat the DALI and move commerce through the port, and we significantly beat those expectations, and that's just because of coordinated effort from a federal, state, and local level.
And even with the remaining cleanup that still needs to happen, officials are still expecting the entire port to fully reopen by the end of the month.
Jessica, a lot of moving pieces here. What will happen to the containers, all those containers that are still on the Dolly?
So Coast Guard officials say that the damaged containers and damaged cargo will eventually be disposed of. But as for the containers and the cargo that is not, it will eventually be shipped off and put back en route to its destination where it was originally intended to go.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore will hold a press conference to provide updates on cleanup efforts. Now, it comes 24 hours after the Dolly ship was moved away from the site of the collapse. In fact, we brought it to you live yesterday morning. This right here is a time-lapse video of a 2-mile trek that took hours as the cargo vessel was refloated and then towed and pushed to the marine terminal. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. The channel is now about 400 feet wide, but it needs to be 700 feet wide to allow for two-way traffic. Crews still need to remove steel pieces beneath the surface.
So when the channel is clear, we're going to come through with a magnetometer, kind of metal detecting on steroids, to make sure that we don't leave any steel behind.
The rebuilding project comes with a $1.9 billion price tag and is expected to be completed by 2028. The Dolly will remain docked for a few weeks and then head to Norfolk, Virginia for repairs.
And I'm Lindsay Vastis at the alert desk. Now that the Dolly has moved, some cruise ships will be able to resume their operations, and this is a milestone. Royal Caribbean's Vision of the Seas is expected to depart on Saturday for a Bermuda trip. It will be the first since the bridge collapsed 2 months ago. Now, on Sunday, a Royal Caribbean ship is expected to arrive. Many cruise passengers were having to be bused to Norfolk because of the collapse.